Hey, what's up? GW coming to you live. I told you I'd review the 1987 slasher film Edge of the Axe, and I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'm gonna get that all written up for you, or reviewed for you. But first, move this back. Sorry about that. All right, so here we go. Edge of the Axe was a 1987 horror film and went straight to video, and it was done by a Spanish director. Give me a minute. Joseph Bronstein, I believe the guy's name is. Now, one thing about this film came in late it came in late in the 80s when the slasher film was dying down. Most people dismissed this though because when you went to the video rack and you looked at the horror films, you saw, Friday the 13th, Halloween, all these type films. And then there was those films you weren't sure, but they kind of look like cheap knockoffs. This was actually one of them. You can tell by the cover art. It looks like a Friday the 13th knockoff. Actually, it's much more clever than Friday the 13th, but it lacks the mainstream appeal of it, obviously. Now, this film was supposed to take place in California, but the majority of it was shot in Madrid, Spain. You'll notice that if you watch any of these cheap 80s movies, there's a little bit of overacting. The gore looks pretty good. In fact, the opening scene of this film will get you. There's a murder in a car wash. I'm not going to go too much into it, but let's just say it's unique, it's awesome, and I wish that more set pieces like this could be recreated. Speaking of the word pieces, if you ever saw that film Pieces, which was another sort of Spanish, deal, horror film deal, this one feels much like it. It has the drama, the campiness, as well as the gore factor. This film, though, I think is a little bit more well done because it makes you think, and the ending is pretty much of a twist. Now, Arrow Video put this out, and Arrow Video is pretty awesome, guys, for digging in and adding stuff and picking up films that really probably wouldn't be seen straight to VHS deals, like I said. But this is pretty awesome. So, Jose Ramon Lazares is the Spanish filmmaker who put this together. He actually came up with this. Now, this film takes place in a fictional California town called Paddock County. And what I like about it is it's got the 80s vibe to it. And it deals more with the younger cast than The Killer. But The Killer has a pretty cool role in it. In fact, you're going to have to watch this film twice to figure it out. Because it may or may not be who you think it was. And even the ending, when you pretty much get it pinned down to who you think it is, they throw that hell of a curveball in it and they just twist it up for you. It's classic filmmaking. So, basically, too, the one notable thing about this film is that The Killer does not discriminate. It'll kill animals, it'll kill people, whatever. Which is rare because the only other film that I know that they killed an animal in was Halloween. Michael Myers killed that dog, y'all remember? So, take that as it was. Take that as it were. And that brings me to another thing. The main part of this is the kills and the twist. Like I just told you a second ago, the kill at the car wash was pretty amazing, and you never expected it, to start out a horror movie like that with a bang, but it does. There's a couple notable other kills. Very, very intense hack and slash. Now, being that this film is called Edge of the Axe, you're going to have a lot of hack and slash kills. In fact, that's all you see. Till the very end when they switch it up and there's a gunshot kill. But it's pretty interesting, and the story keeps you jumping, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a medium-paced horror film. So it's not a slow burn like The Witch where nothing happens for about 2 hours and then you go, oh, duh, I get it. No, this is actually something that you watch, and the more you get sort of figuring out what's going on with it, then the more it kind of plays out for you. You think you have it figured out, like I said, and then the next minute, boom, changes. Now, a lot of stuff has been said about this. They'll say this is clever filmmaking. They'll say it's, one of the best Spanish movie horror films to come down the pike, and which it is. It's also dubbed in English, so you guys don't have to worry about deciphering or sitting there and translating everything unless you watch the Spanish version, which is also included. The other thing that's notable about this is being it's set in 1987. The computer era was just starting to boom. The home computers were becoming a staple of American life. With that, came the need for technology. Before Facebook, guys, people just typed on a computer, messaged. If you guys were on the same network, that message. There's a lot of that in there, and you can see how outdated these computers are from the way they are today. But the filmmaker was onto something because he saw that this was probably going to be the next big thing. And it's pretty cool the way it's used. The other cool thing about this is that the relationship between the two main characters, which is Gerald and his girlfriend Lillian. Now, Lillian's pretty cute in the film. She reminds you of one actress. I can't think of her name, but once you guys see her, you'll kind of know who I'm talking about. Sorry, it's early. I don't know people's names right now. But they make up the core of the story. And basically, in this small town of Paddock, there's an axe murderer, like I said, kills a bunch of people. And they try to figure out or try to solve this crime. And it's cleverly done. In fact, it sort of tries to become two things at once. It tries to be a horror film, a slasher film, as well as a mystery detective story. As far as the killer, like I said, the ending of it throws you a twist. So I'm not going to reveal that twist, but you got to check it out. Now, this is the Arrow version, like I said. There's a ton of stuff on here. There's interviews with the main characters. There is a interview with Barton Fawkes. Barton Fawkes, guys, played Gerald in the film, if you guys want to check this out. The Pain in Spain is a newly filmed interview with the special effects coordinator. And the special effects, that's another thing. It's pretty good. There's one scene where, for the 80s, I mean, it's really cool. It's that, tubes and Cairo syrup deal. But there is one scene that you really had to look, and it surprised me, was the fact that I think the second or third kill, it's done outside, and the killer actually takes an axe, hacks this lady in the back, and when he pulls out, you could see blood sort of bubble down, and it was kind of cool. Gave you that realism. That something was actually in there, now blood squirting out. It's great. Then there's another kill that wasn't done so good. Lady gets her fingers chopped off. And every other movie that I've seen where people lost digits, blood goes flying all over the walls. This film kind of pulled back a little bit on that. And I don't know if they just ran out of Cairo syrup and that. But again, there is a couple animals killed in this film. And I would think that the film industry, sort of policed this, and I think that no animals really got killed, guys, so you can sit down and relax. If you're an animal lover up in arms, it was probably just makeup effects or fake dogs or whatever, fake cat, pigs, whatever it was. I cannot tell you enough that I was very impressed with the quality of this, and I was actually on the edge of my seat. Although the majority of the scenes deal with the relationships, and all the 80s type characters are in here, all the sort of slasher movies are in here, or slasher type characters are in here. You have your killer, you have your hot chick, you have your married guy who wants to leave his wife for another guy, and all these type of people, fit into the to the character molds of the classic 80s characters in horror films. So with that being said, Edge of the Axe is a pretty cool movie if you have time to watch it. It's an hour and 31 minutes, but it's interesting, especially for the twist. Watch it all the way and then watch the twist. It's pretty awesome. So, on that note, I do have to say one thing, and this is to my buddy Nate. I called Nate. Nate works at GameStop. Y'all might remember if y'all checked out for my video for GameStop employees only. You guys might have heard me talk about Nate. And Nate is actually has an interview. And he's leaving GameStop. So I don't know if any of you guys dealt with Nate or talked to him or even, dealt with him. Nate is a pretty awesome dude. And Nate has done a lot for me. Nate got me playing Bloodborne, Dark Souls, all these type of games. But in addition, Nate stuck his neck on the line a few times for me at GameStop. And he never had to. That's the thing. Nate never had to do anything. Nate also, more than anything, in addition to being a typical employee, Nate actually went out of his way and sort of extended the hand of friendship to us. And in doing so, got to learn a lot about the cat. And it's just going to suck when Nate goes because, the store's not going to feel the same. He even told me. He's like, Greg, he said, this place doesn't feel the same, And on that note, there's a new girl, Crystal. And I just want to say, hey, Crystal, just want to say, hey, thank you for handling my orders. And, I know that it's going to take a while for you to get to know us and everything, but you're awesome. And I really, really appreciate everything you do. But Nate, when Nate goes, you're right. He's right. It's not going to have the same feel. It's going to be regular at best or at worst and cool at best. And Nate has an interview, a follow-up interview, and I hope that he does really good. Nate, if you're listening, I hope you do really well. I hope you rock it. I hope you ace this thing. And I hope you check out Edge of the Axe if you got some time. I hope it piqued you enough to check it out. And I don't know what we'll be reviewing tomorrow. We got another horror film called The Burning from 1988. 1980s. And Jason Alexander from Seinfeld's in this thing. We've never seen it. It's been on the rack, and I just pulled it out this morning, and I said, you know what? I might check that out. So we may watch The Burning tomorrow and give you an idea. Sort of a Friday the 13th knockoff, Killer to Summer Camp, Disfigured Accidents. But Edge of the Axe, like I said, very underrated, very, very cool horror film, medium paced, a lot of cool kills, and a very cool twist ending, which you're going to have to watch it. I'm going to have to watch this thing 2 or 3 more times to figure out exactly what's going on. And the only other thing I can tell you about this film is I love the camera work in this thing. I love the way the camera is working throughout this whole movie. Because if anybody knows me, they know I'm a big fan of the 70s cameras where the guy's walking across the street. And instead of seeing him just walk across the street, you see the camera bob up and down, as it's going. I love that type of stuff. So definitely check out Edge of the Axe. And Nate, good luck. Y'all, you will be missed. And Crystal, rock on. Hope to see you. GW.